Good morning, I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Right now on Morning News Now, showdown breaking overnight. Donald Trump's lawyers firing back at the Justice Department just hours before a key hearing over those classified documents seized from his Mar-a-Lago home. We have team coverage with the 11th hour response from the former president's legal team as the battle over a so-called special master review heads to court later today. Not a drop to drink this morning. Crews in Mississippi's capital racing to repair a failed water treatment system that's left 180,000 people without clean water.
You don't think that that's what you have to worry about when you're going to work or sending your kids to school is, are they going to have water?
We'll bring you the latest on the emergency response in Jackson and why officials say the fix isn't easy. Big boost, a major development in the fight against COVID. The FDA now authorizing a new kind of booster shot designed specifically to target the highly contagious Omicron variant. We'll check in with a doctor for what you need to know. We begin with that key hearing in the investigation into the documents found at former President Trump's Florida home that's happening just hours from now.
This afternoon, a judge is expected to decide whether a third party, a so-called special master, should be appointed. That person would review the classified documents the FBI seized at Mar-a-Lago and make sure they do not include information protected by attorney-client privilege. Overnight, Trump's legal team responded to the latest Justice Department filing. That filing from the DOJ on Tuesday night included this photo of some of those documents seized. The Justice Department claims efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation. NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard is in West Palm Beach, Florida, where that hearing will be taking place. And NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos joins us here on set with more on what to expect today. Vaughn, let's start with you and Trump team's filing last night. What's the argument they're making, and what did they say about that photo of the documents that's getting so much attention?
Yeah, this is going to be a 1 p.m. hearing in which Judge Cannon, who was actually appointed by Donald Trump just weeks after the 2020 election, will be hearing this special master case. I know that Danny will do a great job of breaking down exactly what a special master would mean, but this is just the latest episode here in the last 3 weeks in which that August 8th search warrant was executed. And now the FBI investigators have been working over the course of those 3 weeks to comb through these documents, along with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which that team has been working to determine just the national security risk that these documents potentially pose, not only by their existence if they were to get in the hands of somebody into the future, but also, just last night, there was an acknowledgement by Alina Habba, she is a Trump attorney there, that there have been frequent guests into the Mar-a-Lago office where these documents were held. I want to let you listen to perhaps an unintentional admission from one of Trump's attorneys. Take a listen to last night.
I do have firsthand knowledge, as you know. I have been down there. I'm down there frequently. I have never seen that. I have never, ever seen that. That is not the way his office looks. Anybody that knows President Trump's office, he has guests frequently there. It's just a joke. They literally must have gone in and taken out documents they wanted, or cover letters as it is, and put it about so that the public believes that this is top secret documents that were on his floor.
Now, of course, that attorney there is making the case that that is not how the FBI found the documents. And Donald Trump himself, in a social media post yesterday, said that they were, in fact, in cartons. But what both individuals are acknowledging is the fact that, yes, those documents were inside of his Mar-a-Lago office, which runs counter to the sworn affidavit, the certification that was signed by the custodian on behalf of Donald Trump on June 3rd, that, in fact, all of the relevant documents that were requested by the Department of Justice through a subpoena related to classified materials had been turned over. And what the Department of Justice this week is laying out is that, in fact, in August 8th, they were able to secure more than double the number of classified material than what Trump's team and his lawyers initially surrendered there on June 3rd.
Danny, let's bring you in here. And first, as Vaughn mentioned there, just kind of another refresher on special master and exactly what it is that we're looking at here, what that would mean. But also tell us the potential legal implications of this, admission of guests in the office.
Yeah, a special master is basically a neutral third party that can be appointed, but it's done very rarely. And it's even done more rarely, I should say, in situations involving a search warrant. And where it has been done, it almost universally involves a search of an attorney's office. Why is that? Because an attorney's office is a kind of clearinghouse. Indeed, this laptop that I'm holding right here is full of evidence of drugs and guns and all kinds of bad behavior from other different clients that are not involved in a particular investigation. And for that very unique reason, the government or the court may decide to appoint a special master, a neutral third party, to go through all these documents and decide and make sure that the privileged stuff doesn't get out, that doesn't have anything to do with the case. That's not the situation here. This is not an attorney's office. Sure, it's the former president, but that's not the typical justification. And the Trump filing last night didn't really address that. It didn't really rebut that reasoning, and it didn't rebut a lot of the important arguments, too. One other thing I just have to address. We've been talking about that picture that you're seeing right there. This is, and to hear someone say, well, that's not how they were stored. The FBI agents laid them all out. Of course, they do that all the time. Every time I get discovery, they don't take a picture of contraband hidden in a sock because it's hidden in a sock. They take it out, they lay it all out so you can see what everything is. So this is a big nothing. This is what the FBI does all the time when they do execute a search warrant. They lay it all out so you can see it. That's obviously not the way it was stored.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining that one. Vaughn, very quickly here, the FBI says investigators have already gone through the documents they seized. So some experts have argued, well, a special master might be a moot point. What's the Trump team's argument for wanting that special master?
Right. It took them more than 2 weeks, Trump's team more than 2 weeks to request the special master. And that's where you saw in that filing from the Department of Justice this week say, OK, that's nice, but our filter team has already gone through all of the documents and turned over the relevant ones, those that they say are not protected by client-attorney privilege, to the investigative team. So as we speak, that investigative team is working through those documents along with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. As for Trump's team, though, they are making the case, not only as Danny was outlining, the attorney-client privilege, but also executive privilege. The issue, though, is that the Department of Justice says, look, we fall under the executive branch here. And so it's kind of a tough argument to make that there's executive privilege when it's the executive branch that is the one that is working through and looking at these documents that Donald Trump is claiming to belong to the executive branch, which, of course, he is no longer a part of himself.
All right, Vaughn and Danny, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Later today in Philadelphia, President Biden will deliver a primetime speech about what he calls the battle for the soul of the nation.
You might remember that as the president's core message in his 2020 presidential campaign. And this refocusing comes as voters prepare, of course, to head to the ballot box in November. NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli is in Philadelphia and joins us now. Mike, good morning. Great to see you. So walk us through what we can expect to hear from the president this evening and also why he's chosen Philadelphia for this message.
Well, Savannah, good morning. Philadelphia really has been a favorite location on the part of the Biden team. We saw him hold his first real major kickoff rally in the 2020 campaign here in Philadelphia. He gave a major speech here last year as well on the issue of voting rights, really condemning Republicans for a raft of voter laws in the states that restricted, in the view of the White House, the ability of Americans to get to the polls. And so he's coming here now, the first day of September, with the midterm elections less than now 10 weeks away, to really do an effort to frame the election in very stark terms for the American people. He's going to be talking about the fact that, yes, this battle for the soul of the nation continues, that America's standing in the world, our very freedoms, our rights are at stake. And it's all in light of, in part, what we're seeing both in the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the right, not just of abortion, but other privacy rights associated with that are at risk, but also the increasingly concerning rhetoric that the president says he's hearing from Republicans in light of that search in Mar-a-Lago that you were just talking with Vaughn and Danny about, that the threats on law enforcement. And we got a taste of this, of course, just the other day in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, as the president really asked the country, what side are you on, especially toward Republicans? But tonight, with this backdrop of Independence Hall behind him, he's going to be really putting himself on the right side of history in that argument.
And Mike, yeah, adding to that, I mean, we've seen in recent weeks the president also sharpen his criticism of Republicans, especially those who support Donald Trump, even accusing them of aligning with the former president, of embracing semi-fascism. What's behind this stronger rhetoric? Are we going to expect more attacks like this as the midterms approach?
Yeah, Republicans really have responded vigorously to that rhetoric from the president, and it's not an outlier. I'm talking to White House officials who say this is something the president really feels deeply about. It's interesting, Joe, that just a month ago, the president held a private meeting with a group of presidential historians who talked about this moment in American history, really put it into context with other significant moments, like during the Civil War, like during World War II. And they said we're just at perhaps even more perilous a moment for our democracy. This is something that the president has felt deeply about, and he feels increasingly it's something that needs to be laid out. This is a president who, of course, said it during the campaign, and he's tried during the course of his time in office to work across the line with the Republicans. We heard him say just a week ago that he respects conservative Republicans, even if they have differences on policy, but he does not respect the extreme MAGA Republicans who are, in his view, embracing political violence and don't even respect democracy itself. And he wants to make that case again in the most high-profile setting he can in prime time tonight to the American people as well.
All right, Mike Memoli, thank you so much.
For the first time in 50 years, Alaska will send a Democrat to Congress after a special election for the state's only House seat. In an upset victory, Democrat Mary Peltola defeated former Alaska governor and 2008 vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin. The special election took place on August 16th under a ranked choice system, with the results finally announced yesterday. Peltola will serve the last months of the late Congressman Don Young's term. She will face Palin again in November to determine who will serve the next full two-year term.
Now to the city of Jackson, Mississippi, where they're still without running water this morning, and that's forcing families to wait in long lines for bottled water and causing schools to shift to online learning. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has more on how residents are responding to this water crisis.
In Jackson, Mississippi, bottled water disappearing just as fast as people's patience.
I've been in line maybe almost an hour.
One case per car for a crisis hitting 180,000 people.
No water pressure, no nothing.
Officials said a new water pump should help.
How much longer before the people here can be confident that the water coming out of their faucet is clean?
Well, they can be confident that the water that is coming out of their faucet is clean when we tell them that it is clean. Obviously, right now it is not.
The plant, part of an older Jackson water system that could cost more than $1 billion to fix. A pricey problem experts say is already playing out nationwide as aging pipelines give out.
A lot of it was built by our grandparents and our parents and our great-grandparents. No engineer designed a water system to last that long. You got to face reality. At some point, it's going to have to be replaced.
In Rockdale, Texas, unfiltered water looking more like coffee after officials said sediment broke off inside old cast iron pipes. Flint, Michigan, and Newark, New Jersey now investing hundreds of millions to replace lead pipes, posing poison risks. Back in Jackson, lack of water cutting schools short at Christ United Methodist.
You don't think that that's what you have to worry about when you're going to work or sending your kids to school is, are they going to have water?
They can't use the toilets. It doesn't have enough pressure to use it.
No bathrooms.
No bathrooms.
Mother Kelsey Shack asking leaders to do better.
I'm very frustrated. It's very sad because the whole community is suffering.
Morgan Chesky, NBC News, Jackson.
Now let's get a check on your morning news now weather.
Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is with us. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning to you both. And the main story continues to be the heat wave in the west. We're going to see days and days of brutal temperatures into the 90s, into the triple digits from the northwest all the way down to the southwest. So currently 45 million Americans in the West under a heat alert, whether it's a heat advisory or an excessive heat warning. The excessive heat warning, that is in the pink. Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Diego, seeing really warm temperatures as we head throughout this holiday weekend. So for today, we're looking at temperatures again into the 90s, into the triple digits, 107 in Bakersfield, 100 degrees in Pasadena. We're looking at 110 in Vegas. That's 9 degrees above what is average for this time of year. And we're looking at 89 degrees today in San Diego. Then as we go throughout tomorrow, no relief, of course. We're looking at temperatures once again right near the 100-degree mark. Some spots even close to 115. Las Vegas tomorrow, 110, 100 degrees in Pasadena. Reno, 90, 99, might as well be 100 degrees. In San Jose, we're looking at 90 degrees. Then as we go throughout the weekend into early next week, we're still looking at really warm temperatures. Death Valley, yes, it's always warm warm, but we're looking at temperatures near 125. If they make it to 126, that will be the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth in the month of September. So that is hot. Sacramento, so hot too. 105 on Saturday, 109 on Sunday, 112 on Monday. So we're going to be breaking records, not just daily records, monthly records, and also all-time records. Where you see these red dots on this map here, that's indicating where we could see some possible records being broken through Saturday. That's one main weather story. We're also looking at flood risk once again. So wet in the south, continues to be. We're looking at a flash flood risk, especially in western Texas, southwestern Texas, where you see that red there. That is a moderate risk. We're also looking at flash flooding concerns in Dallas. It's all due to the stationary boundary that is parked over the area. It's going to bring more showers, more storms over this area from Texas to the Gulf Coast into portions of the southeast, the state of Florida. You're going to see some showers and storms. Once again, we had a tornado warning in portions of northern Texas, northern Florida yesterday, and tomorrow we'll see more showers and storms. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thanks. And coming up, overcoming Omicron, the FDA giving the okay to a reformulated COVID booster shot.
Why doctors say it could be the key to keeping new case numbers down for good. Next on Morning News Now.
Welcome back. Let's get to a major development in the fight against COVID. The FDA has given the green light to a reformulated COVID booster shot that specifically targets those highly contagious Omicron subvariants. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gusk has more on what you need to know.
The FDA says new boosters from Pfizer and Moderna take direct aim at Omicron, granting both emergency use authorization.
These updated boosters are critical.
The federal government bought 66 million doses from Moderna and 105 million from Pfizer.
You can see the fill level.
Yesterday, we got a look inside Pfizer's Michigan production facility. This is the final stage in the process. These doses are all ready to go. They're ready to be shipped, but they have to be frozen again in these special freezers. That's why they're packing them back in as quickly as they can. The CDC is expected to sign off this week. Then anyone who received the original vaccine is eligible for the updated booster, as long as their last shot was more than 2 months ago. Ages 12 and over for Pfizer and 18 and over for Moderna. Human trials are still being done, but the FDA says this decision relied in part on previous studies with similar versions of the booster. The move comes as Americans are worrying less about COVID. In January, 46% of adults said they were very concerned. This month, it was 28%. Even though thousands are hospitalized and hundreds are still dying daily.
My hope for this booster is that it's going to cover enough of the Omicron variant and subvariants that it's actually going to help us see infection rates come down.
So cases drop.
Cases drop if we see enough widespread adoption, which is our challenge.
Dr. Ashwin Vasan is New York City's health commissioner.
This is our chance to actually have a quiet, calmer winter and to protect ourselves against the potential waves to come.
There's no specific guidance yet on when people who have recently been infected with COVID should get this new targeted booster. In the past, the CDC has said wait 3 months after an infection to either get the vaccine or a booster. We expect to hear more from the CDC on this specific issue when it meets later this week. Back to you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much.
Let's bring in NBC News senior medical correspondent, Dr. John Torres, for more on this. So, Dr. Torres, Pfizer and Moderna have only had time to test the reformulated shots in mice. If the CDC approves the boosters, these will be the first COVID shots distributed without results from human trials. How much does that matter in this case?
And, Joe, that's the controversy right now, and that's what a lot of experts are talking about. Not so much from the safety aspect, because they all think it's a very safe vaccine and has proven itself over the last year and a half, but it's more the efficacy, the effectiveness of this, because, like you mentioned, it has not been tested in humans. But what they're doing is they're using the flu shot model. This is exactly what they do with the flu shot. They don't test it in humans every year because they have a history of how it's worked over the past few years. And so they do test it in mice to make sure it is safe, and then they give it to humans. And it's been very successful. They think this is going to be the same thing here. But this is one of the hurdles they have to get over, is making sure that that's communicated. This is an effective vaccine, and it's a safe vaccine. And we'll see what they say when the CDC meets today, the advisory committee, and then the director makes her decision.
I mean, the challenge is that the government's already struggling to motivate Americans to even get their first booster dose. The CDC says less than half of Americans who are eligible to get the first booster have received one. And as you mentioned, we don't know about really the efficacy yet of these new boosters. Is there a way at this point to boost public trust and encourage more people to get the boosters?
And Joe, this has been an uphill battle since the beginning of the pandemic, is to get the public to trust what the message is out there. But that message has been a bit complicated and at times a bit confusing. And I think in a case like this, with the information getting out about the not having been tested in humans yet at this point, they need to get the information out there that, yes, the way we have done it is a safe way. The way we have done it is an effective way that we've used in the past. And so we're very confident this is a safe vaccine going forward. You need this protection going into the winter and the fall time period, because we do believe this BA.5 and maybe other Omicron variants will be cropping up that you need to be protected against. But it's important they get ahead of that communication, they get ahead of that information, and they make sure that's what the public's hearing to try and boost that confidence, Joe. But you're correct. That's an uphill battle for them.
Two quick questions here. What do you say to those who are on the fence about getting the booster dose? And for those who do want the booster when it's approved, is there a certain window when they should do that?
The main thing I would tell people about the booster doses, we have no idea what's going to happen this winter and fall, but we do think we're going to see an uptick in cases. You want to make sure you're protected, because we know not just that COVID can affect you now, but long-term COVID can be an issue as well, and the vaccines seem to protect against that. As far as when to get the booster shot, I would say, the best answer is as soon as you're able to. Of course, if you've recently got a booster shot, if you've recently been infected, we'll see what the CDC says about that, but you could potentially wait a little longer to get it, but you want to get it as soon as it's available, because we have no idea when those cases are going to go up again. You want to be protected, Joe.
Dr. John Torres, thanks for answering our questions. We appreciate it.
Now let's get to some international news this morning. China is reacting to a highly anticipated report from the United Nations accusing the country of committing serious human rights violations.
NBC News foreign correspondent Claudia Lavanga joins us from Rome with that and other stories making headlines around the world. Claudia, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, this was a long-awaited report by the UN on claims of abuse against not only Uyghur Muslims, but also other ethnic minorities in the Xinjiang province of China. The report states there is credible evidence of torture, possibly amounting to crimes against humanity. China urged the UN not to release the report and called it a farce arranged by Western powers. Let's go to Pakistan, where people displaced by floods gushing down from nearby mountains were forced to seek shelter in makeshift plastic tents alongside their farm animals. Pakistan has recently been battered by widespread flooding caused by record-breaking rainfalls. And finally, let's move to Spain, where thousands of people splattered overripe tomatoes on each other. Now, the Tomatina Food Fight Festival is a tradition that has been going on since 1945 in the town of Bunol, but no tomato has been flying there for 2 years due to the pandemic. Now, guys, that looks like fun for everybody, apart perhaps for the town cleaners.
Yeah.
That stains, too.
Yeah, I don't know how fun that looks to me. Food fight, I get it, but I don't know about that. All right, Claudia, thank you.
Now, as the war has raged in Ukraine, NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter and her team have traveled throughout the country. They're meeting women who are fighting in their own remarkable ways, and she's telling their stories in an NBC News Now documentary called Ukraine, A Mother's War. Here's a preview.
Чоловік в підвалі, тільки недавно їх витащили. Стражували нас, вони насилували людей, вони іздівалися над усіма нашими людьми. Це такий руський мір називається.
Даже я не питалася даже кричати, тому що нема нікого. Дивись, взагалі вокруг все.
Як нам тебе не вистачає, Господи, за що ти тут? І дай Боже, щоб нас.
NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now. Molly, just heartbreaking images there, heartbreaking images you've brought us since you've been covering this war for the last 6 months. Tell us what it's been like for you on the ground, following these women, hearing these stories firsthand.
Hey, guys, good morning. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to really kind of share with your audience and really promo ahead to the documentary that's airing tonight. What happens in conflict, and what is certainly I have found what has happened in this conflict, is that when you are just back from the trenches, the people that you are speaking to, the people that come out of their houses, like you just saw in that promo to speak with you, are women. And as a female reporter, I was lucky enough to have a phenomenal team. Both times that I was there, I covered the war for about 3 months in 2 different reporting trips. I had phenomenal female producers as well. When you show up as a female-heavy team, you have access to spaces that otherwise you may not. You are invited into homes, you are invited into gardens, and that's certainly what we found when we were there. We didn't set out to make a film about women necessarily. The other thing we found in a lot of these towns and villages that had been under Russian occupation, primarily under occupation by male Russian soldiers, that means that the women who are living there, who are surviving there, are really the most vulnerable and had some of the most heart-wrenching stories to tell us.
And Molly, as the title suggests, the women you highlighted, they're all mothers, all fighting in different remarkable ways. What do they want us to know about the destruction and the atrocities that are going on there?
That's right. They are all mothers. And again, we didn't go searching for women necessarily. We didn't go searching for mothers as we were creating this film. I do just want to share with you a quick bite from a woman named Marina, who we met in Borodianka. It's one of the suburbs outside of Kyiv, and then I'll talk to you on the back end.
Marina flags us down as we arrive in Borodianka. She starts telling us about her neighbor's son before we start recording her audio.
Грабили, разгромили все. Нигде ничего. Все разбомбили. Он пошел проведывать дом, потому что нету ничего. А его русские в спину стрельнули. Он пошел домой и приполз домой. И потом я, когда была у них, он говорит: мама, мне холодно.
So this is a woman named Marina, as I mentioned. So we arrived in Borodianka. Borodianka, you guys, is one of the suburbs right around Kyiv that was occupied by Russian troops for the first 5 weeks of the war. When Russian troops pulled back, we were some of the first reporters who were able to make it into Borodianka. And Marina was walking to go to get humanitarian aid on the day we went in there, and she literally flagged our car down. We were some of the first people that she had spoken to outside of her immediate family, and the story just poured out. She was worried that the Russians were going to come back. She was worried that she wouldn't have a chance to tell anyone this, and she told us everything. And the woman that she mentions, Thaisa, she doesn't actually say her name, her neighbor who had to bury her son in her backyard, really becomes our main character in the documentary and is emblematic of kind of the experience of a woman, of a mother in these suburbs around Kyiv. When we were there in April, you guys, all of the gardens of these houses were filled with graves. That is where people buried their sons, their brothers, their husbands who were shot dead. When we went back in June in the gardens of Borodianka, that suburb in particular was already kind of regrowing, and we saw flowers, we saw vegetable gardens. They were once again kind of for growing. So we take you through that evolution in the documentary as well.
Oh, Molly, just heartbreaking. And I know that some of these atrocities that these women told you about, like what we just heard there, have now been documented as war crimes. What can you tell us about that and where that investigation stands?
That's exactly right. So many of these cases, many of these women either were survivors of war crimes themselves, witnessed war crimes, helped us as we were documenting these war crimes. I want to bring your attention to a case, a woman named Natalia. She's from Kharkiv. It's in the east. It's the easternmost city in Ukraine. She's from a village outside of that city, and Russian troops had occupied her village since the beginning of the war and walked into her village, she says, and said they were evacuating people to Ukrainian-controlled areas. And so she got on that bus thinking that she was going to get to go to a safer place, was going to leave her house and her husband and her animals, she said. And what ended up happening is they transferred her forcibly over the border to Russia. So I want to bring your attention. We found her case through Human Rights Watch. We met up with senior researcher Belkis Ville, and she's out with a 71-page report today. It's called We Had No Choice, Filtration and the Crime of Forcibly Transferring Ukrainian Civilians to Russia. And so we also, by meeting women, by talking to women who wanted to tell us their stories, we also ended up documenting some serious war crimes and violations of international law. Guys.
Molly Hunter, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing this documentary with all of us. And you can watch Molly's documentary, Ukraine, A Mother's War, tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on NBC News Now.
Coming up on Morning News Now, turbulence before takeoff. This morning, pilots planning to picket ahead of the busy Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we'll have their message, plus what to expect if you're flying out of town for the holiday. That's next. Air travelers could be in for a bumpy ride the next few days, because today, pilots at some of the biggest airlines across the country plan to picket ahead of the busy Labor Day weekend.
The travel site Hopper says nearly 13 million Americans are expected to fly somewhere for the long weekend. That's more than the last Labor Day before the pandemic back in 2019.
But that increase in travel, and the one we've seen all summer, has come with a surge of problems. As you've probably experienced yourself, and you've most definitely heard us talking about, a new report from the Department of Transportation found airline complaints soared in June, up nearly 35% from May and up almost 270% from before the pandemic. In the first 6 months of 2022 alone, there were more complaints than in all of 2019.
Joining us now is NBC News correspondent Kathy Park. She is at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. So, Kathy, let's start off with that pilot picket today. What are they asking for, and how will this impact travelers?
Hey guys, good morning to you both. So as you can see behind me, O'Hare is extremely busy ahead of this long holiday weekend, and scenes like this really have been playing out all across the country. So as you mentioned, travelers have been frustrated, pilots have been too, and today several of them will be picketing at major hubs across the country, including O'Hare, and they essentially are trying to express their frustrations that have been playing out for several months now. They're talking about staffing shortages as well as fatiguing schedules, and they have really been, leading to a ripple effect on operations, and they question the integrity and safety moving forward. So they hope to send a message to the public, also airline executives. So the picketing will be happening later on this morning here at O'Hare, but also at major airports across the country, including LAX, in Atlanta, and JFK, just to name a few. But they will be happening in 2-hour windows. But these will be off-duty pilots, so we are told that this will not be impacting flights throughout the day today.
So, Kathy, what are the airlines saying about the pilots' demands?
Yeah, so right now, they are going through contract negotiations right now. So no surprise here, but a lot of the airline executives have not released public statements while they go through these negotiations. But Delta did release a statement which reads in part, "These exercises by some of our off-duty pilots do not disrupt our operation for our customers. ALPA's stated purpose of picketing is simply to gain leverage at the negotiating table." And of course, ALPA is a union representing the pilots, and who knows, maybe after they make a presence today across the country, they will come out with more.
All right, Kathy Park at a busy O'Hare Airport. Kathy, thank you.
Thank you. And now for more, we're joined by travel expert Mark Elwood. Mark, thanks for being here on set with us, hopefully calming some of my fears as we were just talking about. I do want to ask you first about this new survey from AAA, because it found that while Labor Day sort of kind of marks the end of summer travel season, many people actually say they plan to travel through the fall. So given these headaches we've seen at airports, I mean, of every kind, delays,
it's okay. It really is worth traveling.
Can you tell how stressed I am? I'm so nervous about my wedding. What can we do to try to ease issues, and do you expect to keep seeing them?
Look, I think we're going to see issues for a while. There is still that pandemic holdover. It's the perfect collision because basically everyone wanted to go on vacation. There's that pent-up demand, and then the airlines and the airports are ramping back up. But look, here's some things you can do. You can book a TSA security line slot at certain airports. Seattle-Tacoma does that, for example. Check if your local one allows you to do that, because suddenly you're cutting out some time there. Download my favorite app. It's called Flighty. It will give you more information. I've talked to you about this. It'll give you more information more quickly than a lot of the airlines. And I would also remember that Twitter is your friend. If you're having problems, reach out to the airline politely on Twitter and say, hey, I've got a problem. The airlines want to show they're giving you customer service, so a tweet is a public way that they can then say, so glad we could help you out.
Are you suggesting everyone's not always polite on Twitter?
I mean, I don't want to be controversial.
Are you recommending a Twitter rant?
I mean, I'm saying, no, but I'm saying,
kidding.
I know what I am saying. Remember, the airlines like to show they're helping people. If you're on the phone, they can't post a tweet saying, so glad we could help you.
Oh, if you're on the phone also, I hope you have 7 hours.
What do you think it's going to take for air travel to get back to normal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get my crystal ball out now. I think what we are seeing is the airlines and the airports are ramping up back with their staffing. Remember, there are security clearances at airports. There are quite complicated things that they want to go through to make sure they're hiring the right people. I think we're going to see probably a few more months, early 2023, I expect demand will have ebbed a little bit, staffing will have ramped up, and it will probably feel a bit more like 2019.
Yeah. All right, let's switch over to road travel. Actually, that same survey I mentioned found 52% of people will take a road trip after Labor Day, so headed into the fall. Now, gas prices have come down from that crazy high over $5 a gallon we saw earlier this summer. They're still higher than they were a year ago, than they were on average. They used to be. What's the best way to take a road trip without breaking the bank?
Two things. You might have fuel points. Kroger has a fuel points program. This is the time to burn them. I always think when you get those fuel points, use them on a fun trip so you feel like you're getting a perk. I would also say something like Gas Buddy is terrific. Download that app and it will basically braille the surrounding area if you're somewhere new and say, look, here is the cheapest gas. And I think if you map that way, you'd be surprised how much you can cut down on your costs.
Yeah, that's a great tip. All right, Mark Elwood, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Great information.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Coming up, new posts by one social media influencer are now raising concerns about her mental health.
Yeah, so what should you do if you suspect someone you follow is struggling? One expert weighs in after the break on Morning News Now.
Welcome back. Here's something some of you may have grappled with. What do you do if you think that someone you follow on social media is struggling with their mental health? Would you get involved, and should you?
To help answer that and following concerns about one high-profile creator in particular, NBC News reporter Colin Rosenblatt got some expert advice.
I can't believe I have bugs on my neck.
You may not have heard of Gabby Hanna, but 7 million TikTok users have.
Apparently not everyone can do this, like touch their pinky to their front finger.
The social media star has gained an enormous fan base for her videos. But recently, that fan base has become a lot more concerned.
This last video that she posted has millions of people worried.
Like, she's not there. She's not thinking properly.
I personally find it kind of negligent to the public that this is allowed to play out in the way that it is.
Hannah's content used to focus on storytelling, music, and poetry.
I get it. I know. It's such a conundrum. I get what I want, but I can't have much fun with it.
But now she's posting videos about race, religion, and gender. And not just a few, but hundreds. That's leading some followers to become worried she may be having a mental health crisis, though NBC has not verified her mental state. When are you going to stop letting Gabby Hanna post, tweets one follower, pleading for TikTok to intervene. But the social media platform continues to push the videos to users, where they are racking up millions of views.
Platforms are not in the business of diagnosing mental illness. And so that's where I think just offering support is really important.
It's unclear what prompted the uncharacteristic post from Hanna, but the situation is sparking a conversation about what to do if a public figure is in crisis.
It's not just about what to do when someone is in crisis, but I think this is really where the platform needs to step in, is how can we support our creators to prevent those kinds of crises from happening?
So what can viewers do when they see uncharacteristic behavior on social media? Experts say leaving encouraging comments is acceptable. It's also okay to alert the platform or loved ones. But beyond that, it may be best not to jump to conclusions.
Part of the challenge is that, sometimes we don't know when someone actually needs help and when someone is just expressing themselves in a more dysregulated way.
Experts say calling the police on someone who appears to be in the throes of a mental health crisis can be deadly. According to a Washington Post database, more than 1 in 5 people fatally shot by police had mental illness. TikTok declined to comment to NBC News for this story. I also reached out to Gabby, her family, and their representatives, and they declined to provide us with a statement. Back to you.
All right, Callan, thank you so much. And if you or anyone you know personally is struggling, you can call or text the Suicide and Crisis Hotline. That number is 988.
And coming up, pirouetting into her power.
When we return on Morning News Now, a look at a new era of ballet that is being led by a woman of color. Welcome back. Dolly Parton is launching a line of dog accessories called, of course, Doggy Parton. The singer is offering a range of clothing, accessories, and toys for the pet that works K9 to 5. You can even get concert shirts, dresses, squeaky toys, and a blonde wig inspired by the singer. And in typical Dolly fashion, she's helping others. A portion of the proceeds are going to an organization that provides homes for displaced animals. The face of the collection is Parton's god dog. Yes, she has a god dog, Billy the Kid. He is a French bulldog owned by her manager. She says she was inspired to create the line by the title of her first ever record from back in 1959, Puppy Love.
All right, Joe, do you know what I'm going to ask?
What?
Do you know?
No.
Okay, well, what do you...
do you want me to say, who's a good boy?
This is an appropriate time to ask. Okay, thank you, Joe.
I want to hear Dolly do that, though. That's what I want. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, we got to work on that. Okay, thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Now, we have an incredible story for you about a woman who's breaking boundaries in what's actually a male-dominated field, ballet choreography. Claudia Schreier is among the most sought-after young ballet choreographers in America today, and one of the few women of color to do the job at the highest level. We spoke to her about her journey to the top and what she still wants to see from the industry.
One is that's better. So if you can suspend the leg, you're going to go 1, 2, pull back. Good. I started dancing at the age of 3. Fell in love with ballet at a very, very early age. Like to know who you are, but to not care that other people are looking at this color of your skin and your gender is really important. So it's instilling that sense of a really strong backbone early on, and you know, ignoring the rest that I think can make all the difference. And we're all going to stretch out that way. When I started to choreograph, it wasn't about trying to emulate white men or straight white men. It was trying to emulate this energetic, athletic physicality that I often found in myself. And when you do it, just really, really go for it. Sometimes the work I'm creating is explicitly in response to something that I'm experiencing personally, that we're experiencing as a society during the global protests after the murder of George Floyd and so many others. I spent a long time almost paralyzed because as important as art is, sometimes it feels like it can't quite get there. It does what words can't, but at the same time, there's a limitation to what it can do if it's not reflecting society back. And so I had to really think about what I was trying to do while simultaneously reimagining and reconsidering what it meant to be a black woman. And so the works I create now speak explicitly to blackness, to my blackness, and to the blackness of those around me. And that took me a while to embrace and to really latch on to. But now it feels like it's so much a part of me that it's almost in everything I do.
Have you had any conversations, particularly with young black girls that are in this world?
Yes. Honestly, my favorite thing is when they reach out and touch my hair. That has been so meaningful to me because it's just this direct link toward what they see and who they are, and they recognize the curl pattern and they see that my hair is a little fuzzy. For someone to have that kind of representation and to see that person looks like me, they're doing extraordinary things on stage, they're making their dreams come true. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than seeing yourself reflected and in a way that you can aspire to. The numbers are slowly but surely changing, which is wonderful. There have been a lot of initiatives that have been introduced in the last several years that is helping to shift the tides of the color spectrum and the gender spectrum in our industry. If you're putting a dancer of color on the poster, are they also on stage? So when that young dancer with the curly hair comes, you know, they're expecting to see that dancer, you better put them on stage and make sure that that dancer also has an internal network of support so that they don't feel like they have the pressure of representing an entire company. There are so many women who are capable, so many people of color who are capable and waiting in the wings to have their voices heard.
Now, Schreier is staying busy for the 2022-2023 performance season. She has performances planned at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts and the San Francisco Ballet. Pretty incredible.
Very cool. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.